Welcome back to the Property Power Couple with Colton and Haleigh, providing comfort and confidence to your real estate experience.
Yes. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
It's been a few minutes. So, tell me who moved my cheese.
Who moved your cheese? Well, that is the book club book we just did.
I know.
And so we've been doing our business book clubs with the brokerage. So these are our past 3. So we did Never Split the Difference, the one-page marketing plan, and then most recently, the Who Moved My Cheese. And so this was actually a Sean Pratt suggestion.
Yep, it's a good one.
For us. Super short, so everybody rather listened to it, and then we talked about it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's been around for a while. This is not rocket science or new information, right?
You know what else has been around for a while? Change.
Yeah, change is happening all the time.
It's the only consistency in our life.
It's change.
It's change.
Yes, we say that a lot.
What do you think your biggest takeaway from that book was?
I don't know the biggest takeaway. So, talking about the 4 different characters and which one are you and which one do you want to be?
Yeah.
And which one do you definitely not want to be? Right. And so I think that we can all relate to all of them at different times, depending on what the change is. So in our industry, we're having a lot of change and we're having to deal with a lot of change. So, are we going to scurry to that? Are we going to take action? Are we going to be in denial?
Right.
What are we going to do? Is it going to take us a while to adapt to that change, or are we going to go face it?
Yeah.
Right. So definitely want to be more of a mouse in the situation and have seen it coming and then go ahead and take action immediately.
Of course.
Right. Change direction. Now, when it comes to other things like maybe the health stuff or other big life changes, a little bit more hem-hawing. I'm a little bit more like, are you sure that has to change?
Yeah, are you sure that's not my cheese?
Yeah, are you sure? So, I think that depending on where we're at in life and what we're dealing with at the moment, we can be different characters.
You see yourself differently in different situations.
Yeah.
The biggest takeaway for me was that the idea of what my beliefs really are, right? Because like you're saying, depending on the situation, I see things differently. When the stakes are different, business and personal, well, for us are all very
intertwined.
Very much so intertwined. I want to be the guy who's like, oh, change, cool, let's run towards it. Yeah. And I think in sort of this recent thing in our life, we keep hearing this word action and take action and just go. And I want to just jump in and go and just embrace it fully. But then, I think I said yesterday, at what point do you find that line between action, and then like we're not even going to see how deep the water is before we jump off the bridge?
Right.
So I guess hem-haw, maybe there's some safety in that to a degree, but really for me, just realizing, what are the beliefs in my value as a buyer's agent, right? No, I'm not entitled to this. I've earned it via the value that I'm communicating that I offer to my clients.
Absolutely.
And I think really diving in deeper to that allows you to see it in a much clearer picture.
I would agree. There's a lot of change happening and a lot of talk of agents like, I'm just going to get out. I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been in the business for a while, so they're like, I'm not going to deal with this. Or just confusion. So what am I supposed to do now? Forms are changing, but like they're the same, but now they're different, and we've added things, but doesn't that say the same thing that it used to say?
Right.
And so, it's confusing.
Yeah.
And, MLS has dropped the BAC, but Trex still doesn't have the new contract out, but all of our listing docs and our buyer docs have changed, and we have to start implementing this stuff. Like, we can't wait.
Just not do business for 6 months.
August 17th is this weekend.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't just stop and not move with the change, right? But all these things are happening. These forms are changing. You can't wait and then jump into it later.
Yeah.
As MLS has removed the BAC, the buyer agent compensation. So you can't just assume. You're going to have to ask. There's addendums that are added to the contract that you're going to have to cover you. Right. And, the listing agreement change, you're going to have to communicate on how is it set up so that we can move forward. And you can't just hem and haw around and not do that. You're going to have to be a sniff and a scurry and anticipate the change and then take massive action with it.
Right. Well, and I think even in this specific time frame, with all the change continuing to come, you're taking action and then preparing yourself that you're gonna have to take more action, right?
Yeah,
because it will
it's not done.
It will continue to change.
It's not done. Yeah, we are in a markets change constantly. So not just is the real estate market going to be changing, interest rates change all the time. So we are already in an industry that deals in heavy amount of change. It's constantly changing, right? Interest rates, days on market, price drops. I mean, everything. Look at 2019 to today.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So much change in the way that we have to practice on a daily basis to keep up with the market, and then how we have to adjust as the market.
So with the other 3 books that we've read, or I guess 3 in total, the other 2, specifically I want to ask you about the one-page marketing plan. There's a few things that I took from it. I'm curious what was your big takeaway from that particular book?
I like the concept of putting it on one page.
Yeah.
A while back we did our business planning, and we took that down to a one-page overview because your business plan can just get so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what am I even doing? So I like that it narrowed it down to one page. And it talks about all the things that we already talked about. Who are you targeting? How are you targeting them? When are you targeting them?
Right.
And are you converting them into a client, not just a lead?
Right.
And so it takes all that, and then how are you working it in one page? So I really like that. And of course, the first part is the getting their attention. How are you going to contact them and get with them? And then the last part is how are you going to stay in contact with them after? I think we have those 2 down.
Yeah.
Right? The middle part about the actual leads, since we work a lot by referral, I didn't relate as much to that one.
It's different.
But I can see it on a brokerage level and whatnot. We're trying to generate more leads for people.
Right.
And trying to cultivate those into true clients and not just leads. So it was a really good breaking it down, pretty simple. And I love how he started with I didn't come up with any of this stuff, I'm just putting it all together.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
But that's so, I think that alone gives it so much value to me in reading it and starting off from this place of acknowledging these aren't new ideas, these aren't new concepts. I'm taking them all together and framing them in a way that makes sense to me as the author, or in our case, as the reader. And that idea that one pager, it's simple, right? I can see it, it's tangible. I've identified who these people are that I want to work with. These are the ways that I'm going to work with them and get them to see me in that exposure, and then getting to that end goal of them being a client.
Yeah.
So,
and it was, we have the resource for everybody, so we were all filling it out and had our agents fill it out. And I think that was really, really great. That was a very interactive book club. This Who Moved My Cheese was like a one-time, like, let's get real, how we deal with change. Yeah, but that one was really good.
I thought that conversation
This conversation was amazing. This one was more interactive. We did it over about like a month. We met 3 times, I think, and by the end of it, everyone was supposed to have their all 6 boxes filled out.
On the marketing.
Yeah, so it was a little bit more interactive. But this, the Who Moved My Cheese, a great conversation where we got to ask the agents get a little more real, like, who are you? Who does your family perceive you as? And then how are we going to handle it? Right. So different books, but both awesome.
Yeah. So tell me, the last one, Never Split the Difference.
Yeah.
I know this one's been floating around the internet for a while.
Yeah.
I think with all the change in real estate, this is one of the top books that every guru.
Yeah, I mean, we had multiple different people from different levels telling us this is something that you should read. This one was a little bit more intense, right? It's all about negotiation, and he's a hostage negotiator. So I guess that relates to real estate.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Right? And so this one was all about negotiation. And he's a hostage negotiator, so that relates to real estate.
Tensions are high.
Yeah, tensions are high, stakes are high. We're dealing with somebody's most valuable asset. I mean, somebody's home that they are buying or selling is one of their largest investments. And so, your life is a very valuable asset, right? So that's how we can relate there. I mean, it was intense. He has a couple different topics and points to pull from. It was good. I think our agents really enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. I listened to most of it. I read a little bit of it. Just kind of went back and forth. But I mean, it was really good. It was also different because it was not a real estate book, right? Actually, none of these are necessarily real estate specific. They're just business, industry. Everyone needs marketing. Yeah, you're going to negotiate, and whenever you do, in our case, we negotiate contracts every day, and then dealing with change. So they all kind of loop in together. Yeah,
it was a great book. I think everybody should take a read. Especially when you're trying to hone your skills in the real estate industry. You want to do anything you can, and reading these books, I've always struggled with the self-help kind of self-betterment kind of stuff, because these, I guess they're all sort of related in some way, but it's not new. It all relies on you.
Yeah.
And so what I've come to find out is that, right, if you take one good thing out of that book,
yes,
and you can apply it to your life or your business, that's the point.
Yeah, we say that with most trainings that we go to. If you go to a training and you get one little nugget that you can implement into your business,
it's worth your time.
Then it was worth your time.
Yeah.
And I think with all of these, we were able to get something to make it worth your time. A lot of it talks about storytelling and, you know, making sure that you're being you and you're telling your story. And, you know, I think you do a really good job of that whenever you're relating to everybody, maybe from your background a little bit, but, you know, you've been able to really get everybody to understand and feel heard. And, you know, hey, let's talk about this. We had a client, Sally, and she went through the same thing and she felt the same feelings, and, you know, making it relatable. Both of them talk about that, from the negotiation side all the way to the marketing side, being yourself, right? So, you know, we parents with a little kid running a bunch of businesses trying to make it happen, right? So that's who we are. And we talk about that. You know, if you don't need to be the picture perfect, what you think that real estate agent is supposed to look like on the cover of that magazine, right? You need to be you, and you're going to attract your people.
That authenticity is so important.
It's very important. We're attempting. I hope y'all still like us with all of the authenticity and our kiddo running around today and trying, you know, helping us out in the studio and doing all that.
Well, thank you for your time.
Kinley, you want to say hi?
Thank y'all.
You want to say hi? All right, hold on.
What do you call cheese at yours, Mommy?
I don't know.
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. What do you call cheese that's not yours? That was great. Thank you.